What is up, gents and gal? We have so much to go over today. So, Grey Knights somehow freaking did it again. Fourth tournament in a row. We have won, placed first place. This tournament was at AU. First, I'd like to give shout outs to Alternate Universes. This is in Bluebell, Pennsylvania. If you guys haven't checked out the store, it's a very, very clean, well put together store. They run amazing tournaments. Thank you, Jack, for obviously running the tournament. Him and Craig are the two that rotate. One gets to play, one gets to judge, and then kind of rotate back and forth. But the scenarios are always clean. The table setup is, I like it a lot. It's very even on both sides, symmetrical. We have forests, we have buildings, we have line of sight blocking, so you don't just get shot off the table. We had 10 people at this tournament. There was another store that I would love to go to, but they always do the same day as this store, which kind of stinks because it kind of takes away, people playing at two different stores, expanding the group, whatever it may be. But we have a GT coming up. That's going to be my first GT ever with 40k. We're going to be playing at the Fight Before Christmas. So if you guys are going to that, come up and say hi if you guys are even watching this channel. Discord, if you guys haven't joined it, we just had a couple people from the tournament join. We're going to be talking about Battle Bunker games, Grey Knight stuff, 40k stuff, tactics, all the fun stuff. Battle Bunker, we just got a game with Brian the other day in the Battle Bunker, so we're going to be posting that soon. That was, he actually beat me, which is awesome. That was the new army, the new Space Marine army that everybody's playing. They're really good. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. The Crusade people, those guys, they beat me. Brian's a really good player. Subscribe. Obviously, that's kind of like common sense. If you guys like 40k, you like battle reports, you like tournaments. This is more of like a 40k tournament type of channel, but there are fun games. We have a lot of fun players on it as well. And painted, I finally got my army painted. So this army that you're seeing today, it's not like a fun list, it's more of a tournament list because they're all fully painted. So I actually shipped it out. Thank you, Xander, who actually got it all painted. Shipped it back to me. Everything's amazing. I'll show you pictures on Discord. And then more videos are coming because I'm actually able to give you what it looks like, kind of like one last blade, where he puts the army in front of you and shows you like what you should run, tournament list, fun list, goes over each model. I didn't want to do that until I had a painted army. Now we have a painted army. So let's get right into it because you guys clicked on the video. You want to see kind of what Grey Knights did at a tournament setting. I had 3 very good players today. You don't get that a lot. You sometimes get like a newer player or a player that hasn't been playing in a long time, whatever it may be, but this was 3 really good players today. My first matchup, if you guys haven't seen my other videos, go check that out. But at the tournament, I go through the pictures and I kind of show you, because I can't record it, it's obviously a tournament, and I show you kind of like deployment, my strategy, what I would change, what I learned, what the guy did, what he didn't do, everything. So it's a little bit longer of a video, but hopefully you guys like it. Let me know in the comments if you do. I'll keep doing them. But again, 4 for 4. Love it. Totally just spilled beer all over myself, by the way. This is Reindeer's Revenge. It's like 9% from Iron Hill Brewery. I got the chalice. All right, cool. Let's go. So this was the deployment. We played at the mission. It was 6 objectives. We actually played this last night against Brian, but it was 6 objectives. Can you see my mouse? You can. Okay. 6 objectives. We played orcs. This is the first time I've ever played orcs. I know they got insanely new codex, but they did get a nerf, so the buggies, which, again, I've never seen orcs, and what I've seen him bring was insane. So he brought, let me see if I took a picture of his army. So he's got these 2 big dudes. They're Psykers. They are insane in combat. They have a last cannon if they cast a psychic power. It's like a 3-hitting, auto-hitting last cannon. He had 2 of the war bosses on the Squiggin. -1 damage on everything. Just really strong in combat. He had the wall, which is like gets a move, run, and charge. It's like the speed wall, whatever it may be. He had 3 squads of these guys, which are just cav models. They're really fast and they hit really hard. 2 units of the guys that deploy further up, and then he had 2 full tank buster units in 2 of these guys. So he had 2 of these guys, 2 units in those guys, 2 of the HQs, 2 buggies, 3 choppers, which I think are already on the table. But yeah, again, it was the first time I ever played Orc, so I was kind of scared. This is how the setup was. This is actually after turn 1. So I got turn 1. If you notice that we kind of just castled up over here. We had 5... Oh, let me pause. I should probably go over my Grey Knight list. So we have 5 Dreads. You'll see it in the comment below. 5 Dreads, 2 Detachments, 2 Techmarines, 3 Strike Squads, 20 Interceptor Squad, or 20 Interceptors, and I think that's it. So 20 Interceptors, 3 Strikes, 2 Techmarines, and 5 Dreadknights. 2 Grandmasters, 3 Dreadknights. That's the list. We'll go over it at the end. But yeah, so what did we do turn 1? I was very scared, so I kind of moved all my Dreadknights over behind my head here. Right there. So they all saw the big transport guy that was right here. I put the Empyric Amplification on him. I shot everything basically at him. We killed one of the buggies. The other 2 buggies are over there. The choppers are in the back. They kind of flew out and did a bunch of damage. But turn 1, I got to go. So I basically killed the guys that were in this cover. They were from just all the shots that kind of got out. There was a interceptor squads that move, shoot, jump over here. So they killed a bunch of the guys in here. We managed to kill 2 of the guys up here. And that was basically it. So I had a really good, strong first turn. He wasn't expecting the firepower because, again, he hasn't faced, or I don't know if Grey Knights, he only played once. So he hasn't faced the firepower. 5 Dreadknights shooting on turn 1. It is ridiculous. So we killed one of the big guys. We killed all the guys that got out. I had Blades of Victory. So I had this Grandmaster right here. He actually started. He moved up 6, moved up 9, got to here, cast Empyric Amplification and Vortex of Doom. That's how we did so much damage. And then this Dreadknight back here, this is a little trick. He Gate of Affinity the guy all the way back, and that's what I did. So I Gate of Affinity my Dreadknight Grandmaster that was out here all the way back here. And that's why he's in the back. So he was super far forward. Now he's in the back. I charged up 5 Interceptors with my Blade of Victory unit. So they move 6 at the beginning of the game. They then move 12 on turn 1, and then they can charge usually anybody in the front row. Which I charged, and they all died. So, yeah, that was fun. So this is his turn 2. He kind of moved everything up. This thing moved up here. These guys moved out. He's then deciding to move basically everybody over. The choppers moved out to kind of shoot the rest of my Dreadknights. And then what do we got here? This is turn. He's still moving everything. But basically, he does a lot of wounds to my Dreadknights in the back here. So this guy in the back gets left on like 4 wounds. This guy back here. Can't see my head. This guy in the back here gets left on 4 wounds. This guy had 1. That's 1 tech priest over there. The other tech priest is all the way over here. The buggies. So this thing shoots so many freaking times. It's insane. These guys ignore line of sight blocking. That's why they're just broken. This guy, I stopped the psychic power, so he wasn't able to get the last cannon shots. And these guys they don't like the forest. So basically they were kind of just stuck right there. Now on my turn, like he didn't really have a lot to do on turn 2. He just kind of shot a lot of shots into here. He wasn't able to kill Dread. So after that turn, we finished off. He shunted over to here. He got a charge off on the big guy after we shot him obviously a bunch of times. The interceptors out here hopped out on the other side of this building to kind of finish off these the cavalry unit. We have these strikes still back in the middle of the objective, just scoring points, and then the rest of the dreads kind of started moving around here. Now all he had left on turn 3 or 4 was this Squiggin Warlord, 2 buggies in the back here, a squad of commandos here. The other Warlord moved over here. Now this is the funny part of the game. Is like such a fun player, Sam. I reminded him 4 times about the shunt. And he even asked me, like, all right, that guy has the shunt, right? I was like, yes. He's like, okay. He shoots. He's like, all right, I'm going to put all my shots on the buggies into this Grandmaster, and then 4 shots are going to shoot your other Grandmaster. I was like, okay. And he goes to roll, and I'm like, okay, let me teleport him. And he's like, oh my God. You know, he wasn't that dramatic, but he completely forgot after reminding him 4 times. So I was going to shut him over here to kind of like help out with this dude charging. But again, he's a friendly player. We were already up by a lot of points. I was like, you know what? It's fine. And I kept him there. And then he he missed all the shots. These guys charged him, but then the Squiggin dude failed the charge. So that was just like, all right, it was meant to be. He wasn't gonna whatever. So these guys got swiped out by the Grandmaster. Like Grandmaster did a sweep tag, killed a bunch of them. Yeah, it was bad. So the end of the game, Grandmaster killed up that side. We still have 1, 2, 3, 4. We still have all 5 Dreadknights, and we basically tabled them on turn 5. Final score, we got 87. We don't add the 10 points of painting until the very end of the game, so it's a little bit more even. But we have 87, so we would have had 97, which is really good. So really good game, and that was the Orcs. So the second game was against Nids. Now Nids are at a huge advantage with tournament play now. I see a lot of them. We have a lot of Nids players at our store. And John here, who is the biggest dick in the entire... No, I'm just kidding. John's a really good player. Really nice player. Really cool guy. John, we play all the time. So he knows what to do. I know what to do. It really just comes down to who goes first and how many shots can we get off at each turn. So the Nids player has... Let me see if I can remember. He had 2 small units of these Hormagaunts, full 30-man units of Termagants, 2 16-man units of Gene Stealers. He had the Swarm Lord. He had 2 units of the Hive Guard, 6, so he had 12 Hive Guard, which is new. He's probably going to have 18 next tournament. But he had 12 Hive Guard, which ignore line of sight. He had the Xenotherp dude. He had 2 units of Warriors and the Warrior Prime. And the Swarm Lord. So that was basically his list. Shoots Dreadknights off the table, like easily with the Hive Guard. And the deployment was the 9-inch bubble in the middle. I had this little table quarter. He had that table quarter. So I love this mission just because the interceptors just spread out so much. The center objective is the secondary, which we both took. So if you control it at the end of your turn, you get 3 points. If you control that and the opponent's thing, you get 5 points, which I didn't know. And we actually did really well this game. And we got 5 points, I think, 2 turns. So what did I do turn 1? I actually got turn 1. So as we were deploying, this is the thing. So tip of the day, always pre-measure and make sure you ask your opponent if you can see people before turn 1. What I mean is I had the deployment, so I get to redeploy 3 models and I get to 6-inch move. So as I was setting up, I measured my Dreadknight, who was right here on the line. I measured 15 inches straight out where he is right there. So I measured 15 inches right there. And I put a base down. And I was like, hey, can this Grandmaster see the people who are in the building? You know, because I could see them like over this line of sight blocking right here. But that little edge right there, I could see past here into these guys. So this is even before we start the game. Because I want to make sure everything is equal. We both agree, no arguing, not wasting time. So he said yes. I was like, all right, is it 18 inches away? He said yes. I was like, because I have the extra 6-inch psychic power. I was like, great. John, though, being a great player and a good guy, he let me, because I got turn 1 anyway, he let me put both my Dreadknights 15 inches away because I used the Warlord trait where him and another core unit within 6 of them gets to move 6 inches before the game. So they both moved 15 inches that way. So they both could see the Hive Guard over there. So again, that's the tip of the day. Always pre-measure. Always ask your opponent, do you agree? Yes, 100%, great. No arguing. Simple. So that's what we did. So we got 2 of the dudes here. We then, turn 1, shunted 2 CP, my other Grandmaster, over here. And then these 2 guys, there was a Dreadknight here. He killed the other Dreadknight right here. But there was 2 Dreadknights being able to see this unit of Hive Guard right here. So turn 1, I was able to kill all but 1 in this unit because of Empyric Amplification. Vortex of Doom, I don't know if I got off. He might have stopped that one. And then I killed all but 3 over here. So I basically killed 5, 6, 7, 8 out of 12 Hive Guard. Turn 1. We then killed a couple of these guys, some Warriors, 2 Ravagors, or these guys, because they moved like 24 inches and he rotted over here. So there was 1 guy left with 1 wound. I was like, damn. So he lived, and then there was a couple warriors that I killed, but they lived. So that was a good turn one. His turn one, he basically feats with the Swarmlord. He buffed up a shit ton, like all these dice, just all the buffs from these Gene Stealers. They killed this Dreadknight that used to be here, and then they all moved over to here. And that was it. These, yeah, that was it. Yeah, and then everything else, yeah, everything else kind of left these guys. So this is the end of my turn. He's in combat with them. They're there taking that. These guys are still moving over. He killed this Dreadknight with shooting. So even though he had 4 Hive Guard left, they still killed a Dreadknight, like easily. Not even. I didn't even roll bad. It's just they just done off the board. So that Dreadknight died. That Dreadknight died, and I think a squad of Interceptors died right in the middle. And this squad of Interceptors over here died. So he killed a couple of Interceptor squads and 2 Dreadknights on his turn. Now, my next turn, this was the kill pile. Because everybody walked by and they're like, that's the kill pile, and it was only turn 2. So much shit died. It was crazy. All right, so this one, we got our Interceptors. They are on the other side here. They're about to move up into this bunker and then kind of finish off the Swarmlord and the last Hive Guard that was right here. Then I had another squad of Interceptors that are right here. They moved up to here and then combat charged the warrior and the other dude here. So on my turn, I had a really good turn 2 where I was able to get 2 Interceptor squads into his basically deployment zone on his objective and killed the Swarmlord, which Swarmlord got shot. It wasn't just the Interceptors, by 2 Grandmasters. So we didn't get the Psych power off, but at least we put a shit ton of shots into them. I used Cybolt ammunition on these guys, which just did a lot more damage into the Swarmlord. So Swarmlord was sitting on 1 life. So we charged him. So we charge him, everybody else, and we kill Swarmlord, the other guy, and we leave the warrior on 1 wound. But I had the objective. So that's all thing. Now at the top of his turn, he did something cool. He spent 1 CP and made these 2 guys, there was only 2 left, made these 2 guys core. Or not core, but OBSEC. So they actually got that point back for him on his turn. These Gaunts died at the end of turn. These guys, these Gene Stealers, I put the Lodestone thing on them where if they, not the Lodestone, it's where if you move on a 4-up, he suffers D3 mortal wounds. I failed twice, so he didn't suffer any mortal wounds. But he got his Gene Stealers out, Gene Stealers charged, and killed the rest of the strikes that were in the middle of the table. Last turn, we basically finished, like there's those guys, we finished here. So this is basically the end of the game wrapping up. These guys got smushed by shots from these guys and shots from these guys. Gene Stealers in the middle died with the remaining charges from the Interceptors. This guy shot some Gaunts because he had nothing else to shoot. These guys deep struck over there, and I think more guys deep struck over there. So just a lot of bolter fire killing the rest of the Gaunts. Everything else over here was dead. And I think we still had some Interceptors here. So by the end of the game, he rolled out. He just wanted to get Rod one more time. So I think he got Rod in the back corner here. And this is the final matchup. So we got 89 points on that one. We had 15 for Warp Ritual, 15 for the secondary that we picked for the mission, and we had 14 for Engage. Engage on that mission is just so easy with the setup, and then 45 for the main. So 89 for the second. John, again, another really, really good game. Trust me, brother, you're going to get first turn eventually. Just blow all my Dreadknights off the table. So I can't wait for that. All right, so last game. Guess what, guys? I said I was going to save this till we get to 1,000 subscribers, but that was the kill pile at the end of the game. It was against Grey Knights. So this is the Grey Knight army. They are very, very gray, shiny people. Another Sam we played today. He drove 2.5 hours to come out to play. Thank you. He had a cousin in the area, so he stayed over, so it was worth it to him. And he actually came in second, which is cool. So Grey Knight versus Grey Knight, guys. If you guys haven't ever done it before, it is not... I'm not going to say it's not fun. It's fun because you both know your own armies, but it is brutal. It is like back and forth, anybody's game. You don't know what's going to happen. Nobody's casting powers ever. So this is going to be crazy. I'm going to have to describe to you what turn 1 was like. I just noticed that the entire game day I got turn 1 every single time. I don't know what would happen if I got turn 2. We got turn 1. This is the long deployment. So it was the 4 objectives. These are the 2 lists. I'll go over his list in a second. It's basically my list, just 1 list dread. This is the setup. So I took this side, he took that side, and we had 18-inch deployment. So many dreads. All right, so his list is 1 Prescient, 1 Sword Bearers. He has the 3 Dreadknights and the Grandmaster and the Sword Bearer. He has the Librarian right here with Techmarine and another Grandmaster. So he has 2 Grandmasters, 2 Dreadknights. Yeah, 2 Grandmasters, 2 Dreadknights, 30 Interceptors, and maybe, oh, he had Purifiers and 1 or 2 strike squads. Looks like he has 2 strike squads. I forget what it was. It might have only been 1 strike squad. Maybe. I don't know. But looking at this setup, we basically, like, I deployed these guys. He deployed those guys. Like, it literally was a mirror deployment. It was hilarious. I deployed guys in here. He deployed guys in there. I deployed guys back here. He deployed guys back there. I deployed this guy. Like, it was back and forth, same setup. But I saved all my Dreadknights for last. Same with him. But he had a lot more guys to deploy than I did. So I basically put down my Dreadknights in a defensive position. This guy who has a shunt is back here. This guy who has the Sigil of Exigence is up front. He also can move 6 inches, so I can move back if I need to. These 2 are in cover, and this guy is kind of just out in the open. I have Foretelling of Locus. He had Foretelling of Locus, so we were able to redeploy a bunch of stuff. So I redeployed basically all my dreads. Okay, so this is turn 1. I redeployed all my dreads. I redeployed this dread over here, right here. I redeployed another dread. The guy that was back here, I redeployed him up here. And I maybe redeployed 1 more Interceptor squad. But redeployed everybody. So what I did, kind of the same thing as the last game where I shunted turn 1, which I don't usually do. But I shunted turn 1. These guys moved up 6. The Interceptors, who are all the way up here, moved up their 6. That's the Blade of Victory. And then he moved up into the forest. Again, I asked before I started if I could move up 13 just to pre-measure and then see if I was 18 inches away or 12 or whatever I measured. And he said yes. So I'm like, perfect. Then I'll know I can get there. And then these guys basically moved up 6, moved up 12 at the edge of this building. 4 of them got in the building. 1 of them was out of the building. These guys hopped into here. This guy shunted in front all the way over here. He's got the 3++, so I'm like, all right, he'll probably survive. And then this Dreadknight moved up. These 2 touched the ruin so they could see this Dreadknight, Grandmaster. These guys moved up on the objective, and a bunch of guys are here with the 2 Techmarines. So, my turn 1. Notice that there's no more Librarian, there's no more Techmarine, and we killed a squad of Interceptors. So what I had to do, there's the other strikes. So what I had to do was, this guy moved up. He casted Empyric Amplification onto these guys, which then he blocked. I casted Vortex of Doom, which he blocked. And then I casted a bunch of reroll charges, which he blocked. And then he did Smite, maybe, which I think I got off. So I killed like 1 strikes Interceptor squad in there. All these 3 guys could see literally everybody over here. So what I was going to try and do was try and take out the Librarian as soon as possible. The Mortal Wound Bomb on the Librarian, the Psychic Shield, the Psychic Hood. He's just, I play him, I know him, he's really good. So on my turn 1, we used Cybolt Ammunition with these guys. They blew up basically the Interceptors that were in front, leaving it to like 2 Interceptors or 1 Interceptor. So that way, Lookout Sir is no longer viable. So I was able to kill the Librarian after I finished off this guy, because Librarian was the closest model to all these guys. So I left the Librarian on 1. I killed the Interceptors, and then I put, I think, all my wounds into this guy. I think he had 4 left after all the shooting, because I was able to get 2 Dreadknights onto him. Then the Interceptors charged, and I was able to kill the Techmarine and the Librarian turn 1. So we took grind them down this game, which I knew I had to just specifically focus down 1 unit at a time, kill it, and then move on. I couldn't leave people with 1. I couldn't, do whatever. These guys just moved up just to get the objective, and then just shot. They didn't really do much. We actually wounded this guy a bunch. He was down to like 5 on turn 1 because of these two shooting at him. I think I put all the shots. So these guys shot, and these two shot into their Grandmaster. All right. So again, really, really good turn 1 for a Great Knight player. Didn't get off any psych powers. I took a secondary. It's funny because One Last Blade talked about taking this, and it's not good. Where you target a character 24 inches away with psych power on a 4 psychic interrogation, and if you get it, it's like 3 CP or whatever. I didn't even want to cast it. I only have 2 characters out front, and they're casting something else. I have 2 Techmarines back here, which they're casting something else. So it was just a bad secondary I took. I probably should have just taken Ritual, or, which I didn't even think about, our Shunt ability. Fuck, why did I take that? If you Shunt and you kill something, you get 3 points, which I shunted with this guy, so if he finished off the dudes, I would have been through. Gosh, would have got more points. All right, so remember that against Grey Knights is you probably want to do the Shunt ability, or just not take it at all. So no Psychic powers against Grey Knights, no Psychic powers against Thousand Suns, and then take the Shunt ability, or Deep Strike, whatever it may be. Cool, so that was a good turn 1. His turn 1, he followed up by killing these guys, and he left this squad right here with 1 guy. So he almost stopped my grind, but there was only 1 guy left here. He then charged basically with everybody up here. So we had 2 interceptor squads charge over here. Now this was his mistake, which I'll go over. He had 2 interceptor squads move out, charge this purifier squad with falchions. Don't run falchions, they're not good. Into these guys, finish them off. What else? These guys over here all died. These guys moved up, got on the objective. This Grandmaster moved behind the ruin, so I can't shoot him anymore. This guy is the other Grandmaster with the Shunt, so I didn't really shoot him until the very end of the game. And then this guy, Dreadknight is behind here. And this guy is wounded, but he's over here. So this is where he messed up. He had guys here on the objective, which he was then holding the objective, but he charged my Grandmaster instead of charging maybe this guy to finish him off to stop me from getting grind. And my Grandmaster interrupted and just sweep attack, killed them all. I was in the Mortal Wound. Shadows of the Tides of Mortal Wounds. It's like, I forget what it's called, but 6s on wounds with Nemesis is Mortal Wounds, and an extra 6-inch with side weapons. That was the tide I was in. He was in Tides of Shadows the entire game, which wasn't bad for him. He couldn't change it because the Techmarine that I killed was the warp shaping. So he basically stayed in Tides of Shadows the whole game, which actually benefited him because I was pretty far the whole game and he just kept getting +1 saves. So again, that's actually not bad against Grey Knights. So I finished off them. I took him off the objective. So that was an 8-point swing. He basically gave me grind, which was 4 models because I killed it during his turn. And he gave me 5 points, 3 points for that, and 5 points on my turn for the objective. So that was an 8-point swing that he kind of made a mistake on, and he learned from it. And then these guys charged the Grandmaster. He has the 3++, which I used on turn 1. So he was actually able to live with 7 wounds left on that Grandmaster. So I still have all 5 dreads after turn 1. I have all my strikes. This guy right here, what he did was he moved to 12 right here, used his psychic power, and then literally hopped 12 more back here. Because he's literally living 1 wound left, and he's the interceptor, so he literally just ran 24 inches away. Because he's grind, right? So I don't want him to die. Yeah, so, oh, and these guys moved back here. I think he just moved up and then shunted over there. He shunted. He spent 2 CP and shunted all the way back here. So next turn he can come out and kind of kill these guys. All right, so my turn 2, we moved everybody over here on the objective, kind of like blocking him. We finished off this little squad right here. He spent 1 CP to back up, so I could still shoot and charge with that stratagem. So we finished off these guys. That was 1. These guys died. These guys are still alive. We finished off this dread right here. You can't see the dread behind me. He had 2 wounds left, so we finished off him. That's two for ground him down. These guys deep struck in the back lines. Casted the psychic power to reroll charges. And then I think these guys deep struck. No, I saved one more, so they didn't come in. I had one more deep striking. So what I do? These guys hopped out of the building to kind of finish off these guys on the objective, so that way I stopped his points. I got another unit for grind him down. My two Techmarines are kind of like moving out over here, buffed up both of them, +1 to hit. And these guys kind of shimmied over, stayed on the objective, so that way I can get some shots on these guys, which I only killed one. All right, so not a huge second turn, but we did, again, we were thinking about grinding them down. We're thinking about engaging all fronts, which I'm getting points for, because I'm in almost every single table quarter. We're just whittling down the Dreadknights. They're the main issue. So then his turn 2. He forgot the sigil as well. So the one dude, the Grandmaster over there, was right here behind the building, but he could see him. This Dreadknight, I didn't kill him. He had 2 left. He can see him. This guy was in the forest, so he needs 6 to hit him, 5s to hit the other Grandmaster. So he's like, all right, I'm gonna put my Psycannons into that guy and the Silencers into here. And I was like, are you sure? He's like, yeah. I was like, all right. I'm gonna sigil all the way over here, which he sigiled behind this building, 9 inches away from the Grandmaster, so that way, or 11 inches away from the Grandmaster, so the Grandmaster can't turn around and just charge. But he basically went over there to help kill this Grandmaster, and these two guys kind of stayed here to kind of get some shots off on these guys and this little mess over here. These interceptors hopped out from behind the building. His Dreadknight over here shunted over here behind my building to then shoot my Techmarine. So he killed that guy after charging him. My other Techmarine lived with 1 wound because I actually perilled. These two guys moved up. These guys fell back. And then he has 3 interceptors. So these guys actually survived the charge from these guys. And that was it. So at the end of the turn, my turn 3, I believe, we kill these guys. We kill this Dreadknight in combat. We leave these two guys left. This Grandmaster charged this guy, which he lived. I did the overhead smash. He had 12 boxes. I think I left him on 3. And these guys charged over here. This guy died. These guys lived. So there's only 3 left over there. And let's get into turn. Here we go. So these guys deep struck right here. He has 3 left. He then spent the 1 CP strat like I did over there and moved back. 3 interceptors there. We have a purifier unit moved up with the strikes over there. This guy's still alive. This Dreadknight's still alive. This guy's soloing back here by himself. And all these guys died over here. So basically, at the end of the game, we have the Grandmaster. We have these 3. We have these 3. And that's it. So at the end of my turn, I don't know if I took a picture. Yeah, so at the end of the game, he didn't use his shunt yet. So I targeted him with some shots. I basically lined everybody up to shoot that guy, which I forgot. So they all shot. He then freaking just ran all the way in the corner to stop me from getting grind. Or at least 1 more for grind. I killed these guys, so I still got grind. And I was engaged all front. So I killed basically everybody on the table besides the last Grandmaster with the shunt. Left him on 3 boxes. So that was the Grey Knight versus Grey Knight matchup. Again, I think whoever goes first, it's a big swing if you can lay it out right. If you plan ahead, if you measure, if you know like, hey, can I do this? They say yes, great. You don't really have to rely on these psychic powers as much when you have 5 Dreadknights shooting at strength 8, -2 damage, 2 AP, -2 damage. Spend 1 CP. It's -3 AP, strength 9. Like there's a lot of stuff you can do with the Dreadknights. Them and Sword Bearers is good. It's just you spend a lot of CP by buffing them up. So I'd rather have the Prescient, which I get 1 CP if I roll 6 with my Techmarine, which he did every single time. Not every time, but like every turn he tried to do it. And then the other one has the Warp Shaping. So if you need to change the tide, you can. He had Warp Shaping on his Techmarine, but he died, so he wasn't able to change the tide. The Brotherhood of Blades of Victory, I freaking love. If you haven't tried it, try. Just put a Interceptor squad and a Grandmaster on the front lines. And if you get turn 1, you can move forward. If you don't get turn 1, just move back. And then you just assault and just kill everything. Interceptors are always good. Combat squatting, the squad of 10 that we had, and then 2 5-man units. And then the Dreadknights, just fully kit them out if you can. I only had 1 teleporter because I didn't have the points. So the teleporter I put on the Blades of Victory one, because what I did in the beginning was I planned it out where he was all the way back here. So turn 1, I already knew I was going to shunt him if I wasn't going like first. So instead I was going first. I basically just redeployed him up here and then moved up and then shunted the Grandmaster. But if I wasn't going first, he's all the way in the back here, knowing that he has the shunt. He can then shunt up if he needs to next turn. So yeah, final points in that battle. We finished off with 45, 14, 15, and none for Psychic Interrogation. He had Pierce the Veil, which is his Warp Ritual. Our power, I just didn't Warp Ritual, that's what it was. I just didn't know what it was called. So we got 4 turn 1. I didn't stop any of them. He only got 1 turn 2, and then he got 5 total. So again, against Grey Knights, it's just very hard, especially with only 4 objective markers. The secondary mission packet, he got 2 and 2, so that was the secondary for the mission. And then he didn't get any for Stranglehold. That was a hard one for him to take. He almost got Stranglehold on that turn 2, but again, he charged a Grandmaster, which he shouldn't have. And then he got 5 points and 5 points for the main one. These are the guys, if you haven't seen him yet, they're on Discord, but the bases, the painter, he basically took off all of the Grey Knights and put them on these cork lava bases, which just look phenomenal from afar. So that was the Grey Knights. We finished off with 74 in the last matchup. We took first place, going 3-0, getting pretty high in points, like 270 or so. That's a lot of out of 300. We got an extra 30 for the Panem score, so it was good. Let me close this out. All right, finally got it up. All right, so this is going to be the list. It was good. Did everything I wanted it to do. Obviously, sorry if I ran 5 Dreadknights, but it was 5 Dreadknights. I don't have 6. Just kidding. All right, so we got the Prescient Brotherhood. This one is the command point one, so you have to give the Warlord trait to the Techmarine. He's able to do the Divination, so he's able to get 1 CP on a 6-up. That's basically all he's doing. That's his whole goal. Cast it every single time. That's it. Grandmaster Dreadknight. Gated Affinity, Empyric Amplification. He's got a teleporter, everything else kitted out. Serving the Throne. So instead of putting a Serving the Throne on like a Techmarine or something like that, you always want to put it on like a 13 wound model. So that's why it's on this one. And then I'll show you what the other Grandmaster looks like. That's why it wasn't on him. And then Foretelling at the Locus is on him. So we paid 30 points. We got on this Techmarine just so we can bring Foretelling the Locus. Then we have 2 strike squads. They're in this one. This Brotherhood spell isn't that bad. It's if I target a model unit anytime they move on a 4-up, it's a D3 mortal wounds. On a 6, it's 3 mortal wounds. So this only happened once, and we killed 3 Gene Stealers, and that was it. But I always like, if you haven't tested it out, try and bring a Silencer. It's free. If you have Empyric Amplification on your Grandmasters and you cast it, these actually get turned into 2 damage. They shoot 30 inches with the Tide, and they get 6 shots, -1 AP. Pretty good, and they're free. And if you want to kill somebody first, you just kill that guy first. Like almost always, you're gonna have one guy at least die in your squads, and it's always him first. So if you're like, but I need 5 swords, you really don't need 5 swords. Just run one guy. He's in the back objective. He's literally just sitting there, not really doing anything. You might have 2 units of these guys. I put them in every single strike squad, no matter what. Always have a Silencer in my strike squads. So test it out, proxy it, do whatever you gotta do. I definitely will always have the Silencers in my strike squads for that reason. Fast attack, we had 2 5-man units. They all have halberds, so literally everybody in this army, if I could fit a halberd on, and I kitted it out, everything has a halberd. The last Grey Knight players ran falchions. He didn't really roll. Like, Yeah. Don't run falchions. If you want to build a list around it, you could do that. But if you're just putting on a unit, it's not really worth it. You're going to get a lot more wounds and damage out of the halberds or even swords. Two heavy support. We have two Dreadknights. They have everything besides the teleporters. And then Blaze of Victory. So that was the one detachment. Blaze of Victory detachment. The Warlord trait, which is the Grandmaster down here, he has the extra 6-inch move. Him and another core unit within 6 of him at the beginning of the game, they get to move up. He has Vanguard Embrace, or Sigil of Exigence, so he has the teleporter. And I gave him Vortex of Doom and Imperium Amplification. So Gem of Anaktu actually works on both of those, which is pretty cool. So you get +2 to cast. So what you do is he starts at the edge of the board, or right at the line, because if you don't get first turn, you can either move back 6 inches, put him into like a forest or whatever the hell you want to do, or you move him up 6 inches. So you move him up 6 inches, and then you move 9 inches on turn 1. So that's 15 inches. If somebody else is on like basically the starting line, what's 15 minus 24? 9. So that's either a 9-inch charge or 9-inch Empyric Amplification, which goes 12, or a Vortex of Doom, which also goes 12. So you spend Gem of Anaktu, you need to roll 5. If you're going against Grey Knights or another Psyker, you roll 3d6, drop the lowest, that's a CP. And then spend 1 more CP to cast another spell. So basically, he gets Gem of Anaktu, which is +2, 2 spells, so you're spending 1 CP for the extra spell, 1 CP to roll 3 dice, drop the lowest, not including a reroll. So 2 CP, this guy can reliably get off 2 really good powers. And it kind of sets up your whole Dreadknight list with the Empyric Amplification. So whatever you want to kill on the other side of the table, that's where this guy's going. You're like, all right, if I have to spend 1 more CP to extend the range by 6 inches, which is what I do a lot, it then is an 18 inches Vortex of Doom or 18 inches Psychic Amplification, with also +2 because Gem of Anaktu. That was a lot. So that's what this guy does every single game. I love him. Strike Squad, regular with the Psilencer. And then Interceptor Squad. So full 10-man unit. They all have halves. And we combat squad them. So you can combat squad them. You don't have to. So what you could do is if you're facing like Drukhari or something like that, you can basically move up 6, move up 12 because of Blades of Victory, and then charge like the whole front unit or front line of Drukhari, tag all the ships. So that way, on their turn, they have to get out of combat and they can't shoot, and it just fucks up everything. You're going to die, like they always die. But at least you're not throwing away 10 interceptors, you're only throwing away 5 interceptors on turn 1. And you get engage in all fronts with that as well. So you're almost likely going to get 3 points with engage in all fronts because of Blades of Victory. Very good Brotherhood. Then finally, a Grandmaster or a Dreadknight with a teleporter. He's in the Blades of Victory. If you want to move up 6 inches with the Dreadknight instead of the Interceptors, so you have a choice. If nobody's gonna kind of be a good target for the Interceptors, move up the the Dreadknight. My second game, I moved up the Dreadknight. My first 2 games, I moved up the Interceptors. So yeah, it's very good. With Blades of Victory, you can roll the psych power, so they reroll charges. So basically, they're moving 6 plus 12, that's 18 inches. So they have a 6-inch charge on turn 1 with a reroll. So very, very good. That's my list. So guys, let's wrap it up. This is a freaking 43-minute video. Let me know if this helps you out. I love doing them. I love playing tournaments. Again, I saw One Last Blades last video just because he just doesn't think he's a tournament player. So I apologize, but I am a tournament player. I love tournaments. I love the competitiveness. I love going to them. I love meeting new people. Like we met 4 new people today. They all joined the Discord. They all joined our basically squad at the tournament because they love the store. And it was just cool just to meet new people, play new armies, meet the lists. Like I haven't played Orcs before. I haven't played another Grey Knight player before. So you just learn so much by going to tournaments. If you guys are brand new and you think it's a Shark Tank, it's really not. as long as it depends, like you go to stores like AU that are going to teach you and have fun while doing it. This guy drove 2.5 hours and freaking had a blast and came in second place. So definitely go out and just meet new people. The one guy I played introvert, he said, but he just had such a blast talking like all day and playing different people and learning what Grey Knights are so broken and all the fun stuff. But it's I'm going to keep making tournament lists. I'm going to keep making tournament style meta. I'm also going to make fun lists as well. Like if you notice the past couple months, I've just been running fun lists. No Dreadknights whatsoever because they were all getting painted. So if you ask anybody who I played recently, it was all Dreadnoughts, which aren't bad. It's just not as good. But it's also fun. And if you saw my other tournament videos, I ran Storm Ravens, I ran Dreadnoughts, I ran, what the hell else did I do? Purifiers, I ran Crow, a captain, just random shit. That's kind of my goals. I don't want to just keep running the same shit over and over. It's not my goal. My goal is to have fun and use a really strong army, which is Grey Knights right now. I am going to practice on Monday for Dreadknights because I think they're going to get touched by the nerf bat. I don't want to jinx it, but they are definitely going to be touched in some sort of way. I don't know how. I don't know if interceptors are gonna be touched, but Dreadknights, they are very, very good. Cool. So let me know what you guys think. If you guys haven't subscribed, we have 520 subscribers now. Once we get up to 1,000, we're able to stream. We can stream tournaments. We can stream Monday night games, which we have every Monday. I have the Battle Bunker games I can stream. And we're going to start making some lists with tournament setup. We're going to make lists or videos with good lists, fun lists, and also we're going to do strategies with Grey Knights and just 40k general strategies. So if you guys are tournament players, you want to see other tournament lists, subscribe. If you guys are Grey Knight players, subscribe. Have fun. Let me know what you think. Always up for criticism and comments on what could we improve. And guys, I appreciate it. It was fun, and I'll see you in another video soon.